Sometimes it's not so easy. Sometimes it's not so close. Sometimes we build our dreams, but then we see them decompose. When you feel down the dumps, feeling sad and blue, give life a chance, my friend, the sun will shine again on you. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Have little faith in you. Maybe tomorrow you can dream all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, it doesn't mean the end. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Sometimes okay to feel blue. Have little faith in you. Dream all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, your dreams can get you through. Have little faith in you.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
cet endroit-là, peut-être Jésus m'inviterait à sortir un soir dans les jardins de chez Pierre. J'entendrai sa voix à dire tu sens cette brise, la lune, tu la vois, il faut repartir tout comme elle, puisque telle est la loi, et pendant ta terre en famille, tous les jours on se reverra. Et je m'imagine enfant à cet endroit-là, peut-être Jésus m'inviterait à sortir un soir dans les jardins de chez Pierre. J'entendrai sa voix à dire tu sens cette brise, la lune, tu la vois, il faut repartir tout comme elle, puisque telle est la loi, et pendant ta terre en famille, tous les jours on se reverra. Et pendant ta prière en famille, tous les jours on se reverra.
Hello, brothers and sisters of my heart. My name is Publio. I'm going to play and sing a couple of songs to help me, to help you, to help us to harmonize ourselves, to prepare for the Spiritism talk tonight. So the first song called Vibration, and goes like this. When life lends a hand, it's time to open up your heart. It is time to love one another. It's time to take part. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality. And we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality. And we join Jesus for eternity. Now, song to Mother Zephyrina. of earth with love in their hearts, with love in their hearts. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. Oh, my mother Zephyrina, harvest of wonderful blessings, make your small son a good Christian, make your small son a good Christian. Source of love that radiates, warming up our cold nights, support and comfort, support and comfort. Cascades flowing down the mountain, calling the children of earth with love in their hearts, with love in their hearts. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. Oh, my mother Zephyrina, harvest of wonderful blessings, make your small son a good Christian, make your small son a good Christian.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Spirit Talk. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, as usual, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We would like to ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place to stay during this time, if it's possible. Our meeting will be you will have 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A, questions and answers. And then after the presentations, we will have a spiritual treatment, spiritual care with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside the container with your water to be magnetized. Our meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Conference Americas through their Facebook, and also every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube as well. For those who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know to Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. The next class will start in the fall. So please stay tuned because we are going to share more information soon. And it's a free and online course, okay? So we offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know that? So the gospel at home is an effective support for you and your family's spiritual harmony. But we will motivate and guide you in establishing the gospel at home study meetings. By posting in the chat, you can request it. However, if you wish to participate in the gospel at home that our group hold every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., it's online. You can just simply access the the Zoom link that we will post in the chat, and you can join us. Okay, so we're gonna post the Zoom link here, and then you're going to join us every Wednesday at from 8 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Okay, everyone is welcome. And you are welcome to include your or someone else's names for the list of positive vibration for incarnate or discarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing energy and strengthen goodwill. By please find the link in our chat, and then you can place all the names that you want for us to pray and the spirits to help them as well. The topic of today's meeting will be the Greatest Commandment, items 1 to 7 from chapter 11, Loving One's Neighbor as Yourself, of the Gospel according to Spiritism, and will be facilitated by our sister Ana Oliveira from Alabama. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and they will be addressed at the end of the talk. Now, we would like to invite our tonight's speaker, who will also do our opening prayer as well. So after Anna is done, I will be back. Okay? I'll see you guys soon.
So let's close our eyes, thanking God for this moment, for that little light that shines, that goes towards the good that already shines inside each one of us. Thanking Jesus for his company, his counsel, his blessings, his guidance in this path to a better version of ourselves. Thanking him that according to the plan of the Almighty, even the little lights, they are also important. They make a big part and they can contribute to with the greater good. So thank you, Father, for that opportunity to be co-creators of good and of betterment of ourselves and our environments with you. So by thanking Jesus, we also ask him to bless all that join us today, to help us all really understand and have the courage to practice the lessons of your gospel, Jesus, your gospel of love, your gospel of courage, your gospel of fraternity and liberation. Thank you for all and for everyone and for everything. We thank you. And so be it. All right. So now I am going to share my slides with you guys. And we will go and talk about the gospel according to Spiritism. I think you should be seeing the correct screen. If not, one of my friends, because like I said, it's not just the person here in front. There's always people behind the scenes here also helping a lot and making this work. So just let me know, just come off mute and let me know. But like I said, we're going to talk about the Greatest Commandment today. So in the Gospel according to Spiritism, this is already chapter 11. So you know that Kardec usually starts with some parts of the gospel, then he comments, and then towards the end of the chapter we usually have messages from the spirits that add to our understanding of the topic, right? And the topic today is talking about the greatest commandment. So Kardec posts this part from the gospel, from the Bible, that is in Matthew chapter 22, verses 34 to 40, where it says that the Pharisees, having learned that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. And one of them, who was a doctor of the law, came to Jesus and asked Jesus this question in order to test him. So the question was, Master, which is the greatest commandment of the law? Right? We have the 10 commandments, right, that were brought to us through Moses. But what is the greatest commandment of the law? And Jesus answered him, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And this is the second, which is similar to it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets are contained in these two commandments. So if we get ourselves thinking, oh my gosh, 10 commandments, so many lessons Jesus sent to us. What is the greatest commandment? What really summarizes the message of Jesus? And it is love. Love to God, love to others, love to yourself. But to love is not easy, right? You guys cannot think how much imposter syndrome I have, for me talking to you all about love, right? I also have my struggles with love. Are there times where I think I'm loving and it's kind of easy? Yes. Like, since I'm a mom, I think it's easy to love our kids, especially if they're kind and everything. But sometimes when they're really naughty or they are misbehaving, at that moment we have to really breathe and pull all that motherly love and then continue loving, the person. And that's the thing about love, right? It you can't choose just the times where it's easy. There are some situations and some people that are easier to love than others, but the commandment is to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. So your neighbor means everybody. It doesn't say your nice neighbor as yourself. Love your nice neighbor. It doesn't say love your forgiving neighbor as yourself. It doesn't say love your perfect neighbor as yourself. It just says your neighbor. So that's why, love is not easy, because if we really do an inventory, we can see that at some points in our lives, at some moments in our day, we kind of are doing well. If there was a dial that showed the love, at some points in the day we're like, yay, really good, doing really well. But sometimes we are not in the loving phase so much. And just to remind us why it's not so easy and what really love is, I brought the description from Paul, right? The Apostle Paul, when in the 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 to 8, where he mentions some things about love. So love is patient and kind, right? So from there, I can see the times that I'm not loving, right? And I should be. But that's what I need to strive to. That is the greatest commandment, is that I be loving to God, to me, to my neighbors. And that means being patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast, is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not self-seeking, right? So every time that we are in that attitude, it's my way or the highway, that's not really loving, right? it's not irritable or resentful, right? And the last chapter we talked about, it was all about forgiveness, and we'll talk a little bit later how I think that those chapters, they really flow together, 10 and 11, and it was not a random that they are together, because if we keep paying attention to the message, it keeps on connecting and going in this thread. um, it says it keeps no record of wrongs, right? Yeah, that thing that is so easy for us to do, that we are dealing with a person and we sometimes just want to bring it back, and we keep remembering all the bad things that they did to us, so loving, it's clearing that path, zero in that account is like clearing the balance, right? Every day at each opportunity, right? Not keep that record of wrongs, and then at any opportunity, really, making sure that we remind people about that. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, and love never ends, right? So, of course, we are here to learn how to love. Jesus is our master, and he's really guiding us, modeling love to us, and helping us in this path. So, if we don't feel like that is all, already there at every single moment, that is okay. That is the plan, right? That is the commandment. And by, first accepting that commandment, accepting what Jesus said, that is the greatest one. So that is the summary of the law. And just putting ourselves every day and learning how to love God, how to love ourselves, and how to love others, right? It's a process. The more that we put ourselves into it, then the better we will become. So remember, the first commandment Jesus said, it's to love God. And I just found some of the pictures here that I think represent God's creation to represent God. And I kept thinking, do I really love God, right? Like, do I love their creation? Sometimes it's easy for us to love a bird, but not a lizard, right? But they are all part of creation, right? Sometimes, we enjoy, we even the things that we do can be harmful for for nature, or it can be wasteful, right? And even, do I really loving God in the sense that if I need help, if I need like an outlet, if I need to release some stress, I really actually look into nature, to connect with God and to release some of those. So what does it mean to love God too, right? Is to love God to spend my whole life, or most of my better hours, the most valuable or the most precious hours of my day, actually just seeking material things, not taking care of myself, right? Not praying, not connecting with God is really loving God, or it's not. So, do I need to adjust some things in that relationship too? And remember, the commandment, right? The first one is to love God. And Jesus said that the second, that is also important. And those two summarize the whole law and the prophets. It's to love your neighbor as yourself. But who is my neighbor? Right? So when I think about my plans of becoming more loving, do I include everyone? Do I include all my neighbors? Like, the actual neighbor that maybe is a problematic one, that parks in front of my house, or, that makes noisy parties. But Do I consider my neighbor the person at work that is difficult? Do I consider my neighbor somebody if I'm riding in the bus with them? Do I consider my neighbor somebody who knocks at my door? Do I consider my neighbor somebody who is calling, or who I, need to talk and to solve a problem or to do some kind of business? Who is my neighbor, right? So all my neighbors, my neighborhood is anybody, right? Is anybody, the neighbor is actually any brother or sister that comes into contact with us. So even if we're doing really well already at being loving, we need to understand, are we loving really others? But also, are you loving yourself, right? It says there to love others as you love yourself. So, not more, not less, as. So, love God above all things. So, once you take that part, everything else falls into the right place. It's not love money more than God. It's not love more my job than God. Not love my mother or my spouse. It's love God above everything. And then my neighbor as myself, right? Then we're all on that same level. So we have to remember to love ourselves too. And the other um, um, parts of the gospel that Kardec puts here about the greatest commandment are these two verses from Matthew and Luke. And one says, "Do unto men everything you would want them to do unto you, for such is the law and the prophets." So, first, we're thinking, oh, there are a lot of commandments. If I'm a Christian, there are a lot of things, behaviors and beliefs and attitudes that I need to have. But what is the greatest commandment? What is the summary? What is the most important thing? So Jesus already said, love. Love God, love yourself and your neighbor. And now, these things were added there because maybe we're thinking, okay, even with the description of Paul, these are all things that love is patient. But in the day to day, how do I know that my attitude, that what I act, what I'm doing, what I'm saying, it's actually kind or loving or right? So one of the tests is really, if you did not want for you, that means it's no good. So if it's no good, it's no loving, right? If you do that to others. So that's why it's there. Do unto men everything, to men, meaning humanity. So do to others everything you would want them to do to you, for such is the law and the prophets, right? So we need to love ourselves, to want good things for ourselves so that we can do good things to others. And in Luke, it says, treat all men just as you would want them to treat you, right? So that is a good measure. It's a good kind of quick test to see, is this kind and loving? Well, if it was the opposite, if the direction of the action was not going from me to others, but it was coming from others to me, would I like it or not, right? Would I think that that is something that I would want to receive? If it is, then probably it's a good thing. So basically, the key is to do to others what I would like to be done to myself, right? So, like we said last week, too important to know ourselves, to forgive, because if we know ourselves, then we know that we could be we could have done that same thing that person did to us, that now we need to forgive, or even worse. But in the love, remember, I need to know who I am, and what I like and why I like those things. So it's really knowing myself too, so that I can love myself, and then in that way I want good things for me and for others too. But it's that same concept of putting yourself in the shoes of others, right? When it's time to really consider what really is going on. So if we can put ourselves in the shoes of the other person and see the situation from their perspective, so it's a more complete view than just from our side. And there are a lot of Bible verses in this chapter. And one of them was it is about this parable, right? That Jesus said, and this is in Matthew 18, chapter 18, um, verses 23 to 35. So it talks about, this parable. So it says that Jesus is saying that the kingdom of heaven is just like a king. And this king want to settle accounts with his servants. So there were some servants that owned him some money or some talents, and he wanted them to pay. So, and begun to do so, the one who owned him 10,000 talents was presented to him. So he wanted to settle all the accounts. He said, okay, everybody who owns me money, come forward, right? So this first one owned 10,000 talents. But this person did not have the means to repay. So the master ordered him, his wife, his children, and everything he owned to be sold in order to satisfy the debt. So that it was something that it was really common practice, at that time. Oh, you don't have money, we need to sell everything, including, your children, your wife, so that you can pay your debt. Then the servant, throwing himself at the feet of the king, begged and say, Lord, have a little patience and I'll repay you the full sum. Then the servant's master, right, was really touched with compassion and allowed him to go and forgave his debt, right? However, having barely left, this servant, the one who was just forgiven for a big sum, met one of his fellow servants who owned him 100 denarii, right? So 10,000 talents versus 100 denarii. And he said to this other guy, pay me what you own. His fellow servant did just like he did and threw himself at his feet and begged him, saying, have a little patience and I will repay you the full sum. But the other did not want to listen to him, and upon leaving, had him put in prison to be kept there until he paid what he owned. When his other fellow servants saw what happened, they were extremely upset and they went to talk to the master and tell everything, right? They were like, yeah, you forgave him. And he went and put somebody else in jail because they own him. Then the master had the first servant brought to him and said, you evil servant, I exempt you from all that you own me because you begged me. Thus should you not also have had mercy on your fellow servant, just as had mercy on you? And the master, enraged, sorry, I think I stopped sharing. Can you still see the slides? All right. So, and the master that was enraged handed him over to the jailers until he paid everything he owned. So then Jesus says at the end of that parable, it is thus that my Father who is in heaven will treat you if from the bottom of your heart you do not forgive your brothers from the wrongs he has committed against you, right? So if, we are giving mercy, we should be, give mercy too, right? So that is, one big connection that I saw as I was reading and preparing for this week. And, remembering the chapter from that last week, that love and forgiveness, right? go hand in hand too. So forgiveness is an act of love, right? It's being not revengeful, it's not being unkind. And, you know, it is this thing too, the same with love and forgiveness. We give love because we need, that love too. And then the last part here, so we're in section 4, is the part where Kardec actually explains, right, the meaning of these passages. So he says that to love your neighbor as yourself, to do unto others as you would have them do unto you, expresses the most complete form of charity, because it summarizes all man's obligation towards his fellow men. We can find no guide to take as an example that is more guaranteed in this respect than we should do to others what we would have them do to us. What right have we to demand that people behave in any matter, that people be more benevolent and more devoted to us than we are to them, right? So it's all about us, right? We have the responsibility and we would have the merit too of becoming a better person. I cannot expect others to have the behavior. I need to model that behavior, right? So it says that the practice of these maxims leads to the destruction of selfishness. And when everyone has been adopted this, to love your neighbor as yourself, as a rule of conduct and as the base of all institutions, then man will understand true fraternity and so make it possible for peace and justice to reign on this planet, right? At that point, if you can love your neighbor as yourself, there will be no more hate nor dissensions, but only union, concordance, and mutual benevolence, right? So remembering that one of the laws, right, the divine laws, is the law of justice, love, and charity. So love, charity, justice, right, all together. So in looking at this, I went to the Spiritist book and got a little bit more about, charity and love. And sometimes in some texts, they even are kind of, sometimes love is translated as charity, and vice versa. But in Spiritism, it's kind of okay because we really think about the law of justice being also the law of love and charity, right? So in this question, in the Spiritist book, question 886, Kardec asked the spirits, what is the true meaning of the word charity as used by Jesus? And the spirit says that it's benevolence for everyone, indulgence towards the imperfections of others, and forgiveness of offenses. So really completing here in the answer, they say that love and charity complement the law of justice, since loving your neighbor is to do to them all the good in our power, all that we would wish to have done to ourselves. This is the meaning behind the Jesus words that you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Right? And according to Jesus, the spirits, they remind us that charity is not restricted just to giving alms, but covers all our relations with the fellow human beings, whether inferior to us, equal, or superior. And that can be, we can plug it in the inferior, we can plug it in less power, right? Or less education, less money, less age, whatever we want to do. So it really preaches indulgence on our part because we need the same ourselves, and it forbids us from humiliating the unfortunate as it's, too often done. the last part, sections 5, 6, and 7 that we're going to discuss today is talking about render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. So this is another passage, and this is in Matthew and in Mark, in both of the Gospels. And it's that passage where it says that they then went the Pharisees who took counsel how they might entangle him and in his talk. So they are kind of setting a trap to Jesus, right? And they sent out unto Jesus, their disciples with the Herodians, say, Master, we know that you are the truth, the God in truth. Actually, I'm going to read it here. In my slides is a different translation from the Bible, but the new international version is a little bit easier for us to understand. So then they ask, Master, we know that you are truthful and that you teach the way of God through the truth, without regard for whomever one might be, because you do not take into consideration men's positions. So tell us your opinion on this. Is it permissible for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Jesus, however, knowing their malice, said to them, You hypocrites, why are you testing me? Show me the coin you use for the tax. And having presented uh, him with a denarius, Jesus said to them, Whose image is an inscription is this? Caesar's, they said to him. Then Jesus answered them, Then render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. Having heard him speak like that, they marveled at his response, and leaving him, they went away. Right? So they were not expecting that answer. Um, and Kardec starts to explain to us that that question was motivated by the facts that the Jewish at that time, they really did not like the tribute or the taxes that were imposed on them by the Romans, right? So then they were wanted, to see what Jesus would say, in terms of that. So this payment of these taxes was a point of irritation at this point, right? So they were asking Jesus, basically, is it licit for us to pay or not to pay this tribute to Caesar, right? There had been a trap set by this question, because those who had put it expected Jesus to say something against the Roman authority or the dissent Jews. But Jesus, actually, who understood their malice, got around this difficulty. He got around that and gave them a lesson in justice by saying that to each one should be given what was due to them. So, the greatest commandment is to love a God above all things. But we need to be thinking, what is Caesar's and what is God, right? We do live in a society, so we need to follow the civil laws too, right? God's laws, but civil laws too. And most of the time, in most places, they say, you shall not kill. So it's in both laws. But in many aspects, God's law, it asks us to do a little bit more than society already has in their law, because God's justice is much more comprehensive and much more powerful, right? But we need to know it's not for us to abstract and just spend the whole day praying and just doing the good. Sometimes that's not possible. If that's possible for you, just to live this kind of life, then that's great. But we really need to have a balance, right? It's not because money is something that is not really directly related, to God, but it's more of a society that we're not going to pay for our taxes, that we are not going to give money to the temples or to our religion. I mean, we need to have the lights on, and the lights on, right? It needs to be, we get the lights, they keep on if we pay the bills, right? So it's a balance, so it's like, really, am I giving God what is God's and giving Caesar's what is Caesar's, right? Am I doing both duties, right? But not, just really trying to use God as an excuse to do our civil, obligations, right? And remember, our civil obligations, most of the time, if we have to contribute with our work to society, with our money to society, that's a way to also help the most vulnerable, right, in the society. So it's a way to share and to be loving with others too. So it's just a balance. So I think when I got to this point, I was just thinking, it's what is really Caesar's and what is God, and how am I spending my time, my talents, my everything that I have, all the good things that I have. Well, how am I spending between those two sides of life? And Kardec really, on this last item, and I'm almost done. You guys know I talk a lot, but I'm trying to be cognizant of the time. He explains, right, for us to be careful, we should not understand the words "give to Caesar's what belongs to Caesar" in a very restrictive and absolute manner, right? With everything that Jesus taught, this is a general principle that has been summarized into a practical and more customary form and taken from a certain circumstances. So the principle is the consequence of the one in which we should do to others as we would have them do to us. It condemns every kind of moral of material damage which might be caused to another, as well as all disregard of their interest. It prescribes respect for the rights of each person, as each one desires that they be respected. So this maxim, right, and these words, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, or render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, it extends as well to the fulfillment of our obligations towards our family, towards society, and towards authority, just as much as for individuals in general, right? So this was just the beginning of the chapter. We are in chapter 11 again, loving one's neighbor as oneself. And we just cover items 1 to 7, but we have many more, much more to come with this chapter. Let me see if I can stop sharing. There we go. So let me see here if we have any questions or any comments. I don't see any. So because of the time, we can go straight to our next part of this time here tonight. I really hope you enjoy, and I really recommend you reading the whole chapter. We usually in our chats we put the link for the PDF of the book where you can read the chapter for yourself and have your own insights and reflections on that too. So the spiritual care, part of it is passes, and passes is a transfusion of a spiritual energy that assists our physical, emotional, and mental balance. So if this is your first time, we do a type of passes that we call guided passes. So you're going to have words that, instructions that you're going to be following. So just close your eyes and follow the instructions or just close your eyes if you can. It just helps you focus more, helps you with mentalizing the images and the words that are being said in the video, or just remain in prayer. So the most important thing is just to be open to all the good vibrations, that all the good energies that will be transfused to you. And remember, the water that I asked earlier during the spiritual treatment too, that water is going to be magnetized and will receive healing energy for your body and your soul, which you and your family can benefit from. So before we go to our passes, I will do our final prayer, and after that we'll go into passes, and I hope you enjoy the spiritual treatment. So let's pray. Master Jesus, thank you for your love. Thank you, God, also for the gift that is Jesus to all of us. Jesus, thank you for your lessons of love, of being such a good master that teach us, that summarize things to us, that really tries to make it easier for us in whatever evolutive stage we are, whatever stage of betterment of our soul, of becoming better today than we were yesterday, that you give us examples and you really model and simplify your message by saying that your message is about love. Help us continue with our vow and with our interest and our efforts in loving God every day above all things, not getting distracted in this very material world, and not silencing the voice of God that claims, that really shouts from inside of ourselves, and that it can be heard all over nature, all around us. Help us also love ourselves, knowing that God loves us, and may we mimic this love that God has for us, and also love ourselves in that same manner, and also extend our self-love to love of neighbor, to all of the neighbors, not only the easy ones, but may we joyfully and courageously accept the challenges of loving everyone. We thank you for this opportunity to be together, and with a loving heart, we really ask you now for all the people that have their names in our vibration book, in our online prayer book. May they all be assisted, not just Jesus, due to any merit they may have, but through the love, the justice, and the mercy of God that love us all, that never forsakes anyone, and that is always, always loving us, and whose mercy is forever. Thank you, Jesus. Bless our families, our places of work, and may we be here together in your name many, many times. So be it.
Let's get ready for the pass and water fluidification. Please get a container with clean water to be fluidified. Brothers and sisters, it does not matter where you are, what type of hardships you are going through. Jesus is always ready to come and help us. Place yourself in a comfortable position, which can make it easy for you to reach concentration and receptiveness. Breathe slowly and easily. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Fill up your lungs with air and let it out very slowly. Let tranquility and peace energies penetrate your lungs and move throughout your body. Your soul in harmony with your body feels easy and in peace. Let's imagine Jesus' passage. A clear day, the sun's golden rays illuminate the happy passage in Capharnaum. A lot of white houses, multicolored vines, and hopping birds fill the landscape with optimism. The news about cures attracted the crowd in need. Suddenly, Jesus appears slim and handsome. His tunic was hanging down to his feet. At sunset, all those with sick people hit by several illnesses would bring them, and as he placed his hands over each one, he would heal them. This is what Luke the evangelist says. Let's imagine Jesus approaching you. He holds his friendly hands over our head. Notice that from his generous hands, a waterfall with clear and pure water originated from his love come to bathe you. It flows on your head, goes down your shoulders, bathe all your being, and brings you peace, serenity, and balance. They remove all impurities and pacify you. Feel the water bathing you, cleaning. Breathe. Now, imagine Jesus as a sun before you. His light, his warmth surrounds you. Feel the healing energy that comes from Jesus towards you. He hears your prayers. Trust him. His love is endless and it follows you and protects you. It provides you with everything you need. Have faith. Absorb the healing energy from Jesus. His light surrounds you. Feel the energy going through all your body. Feel stronger and in peace. Lord Jesus, our divine friend, reach out your generous hands, Lord, and change this water into medicine for our physical and spiritual illnesses. Protect us, Jesus, with your peace. Spread those vibrations of love throughout my home, Lord. May peace, health, and tranquility reign here. We are very grateful to you, Jesus. Stay with us today and forever. Thank God. Please remember to use the fluidified water.
We thank Anna for the talk, and we also thank everyone for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here the same time at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will be back on Spiritism Canada, Continental Conference Americas at 8:30 p.m. and next Saturday on Kardec Radio. And please don't forget to follow us Spiritism Canada on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and the Spirit Group Path of Light on Facebook as well. Have a good night and see you next Tuesday.
Come on, my friend, come to the light. together on this road. Then we take peace and love and spread it to the world.